Hello, Amanda.
Think you have filed.
Wait.
Sorry.
Hey, you went in. Oh, there you are.
Sorry.
Hello.
I had
No,
my
that's-
video off until we were ready.
You're
No, that's
here.
fine.
Believe it or not.
We wanted our camera off until we were ready to.
I'm gonna be downstairs on Zoom still, so keep an eye on things, but
So if anything happens, you can rush up and save us.
yes, and you can just be like, here's about here.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's fun. After I remember all the kids I was getting my, so I started to kind of get racing. No, like the end, so there's three of them. Yeah.
If I mute, it's because I'm yelling at my offspring.
We'll read your lips.
Go to your room.
Okay.
Can you say that one more time, a little bit louder? A little more aggressive.
Funny.
I think you should bring your kids in. I think it's just a good idea. They ought to be, in on the discussion.
It could be
They
patient
should.
learn.
It
They
could
should.
be fun.
There's one that would be great during a work session and one that would probably not be great during a work session, and the one that's home is the latter. We all know it. We love him. You all know him.
Comedic relief is always nice though.
Oh,
He's gotta stand
All
up
right.
for, standing
He's
right,
got
staring straight in his face.
Well, very good. Thank you, everybody. It is 6 o'clock. We're going to start this work session of the Board of Selectmen to do a budget review. I'm going to do a quick roll call just so we know who's here. Amanda Cooper,
here.
Mary Smith here, Dwayne Gazinski,
Here.
Rob Connell,
Here.
Rich Barrows, we know is not here, and Alex Sassoon is not here. And we don't need a quorum or anything, but still we know who's here for those online. All right, very good. So Dennis, would you like to take it away?
Sure, I'm trying to remember where we left off. I think it was, we finished everything but the road and bridge and facilities, is that correct?
We did road and bridge. I thought we needed to do water, sewer and facilities, but I don't know. What does everybody else have in their notes?
We did water and sewer first, on the very first work session.
Oh, these were, okay.
I just wanna thank you guys for spending a lot of time on this.
Yes.
Who else is on?
I represent. But, yeah, you were heading the road and bridge
No, I
direction.
think that was Kasia coming up.
Okay, you're coming on. Very good. Thank you. Okay, so we just need facilities then?
We're on, I want to circle back on road and bridge and make sure that we're all satisfied with where we landed.
Do we have a updated copy from Road and Bridge? Is that in our book?
I do not have an updated copy, no, sorry. I brought in the originals over here.
Hi, Cindy.
I'm here.
Well, Cindy Neely is here, just for the record, just, even though it's a work session, we're just saying who's who.
Yes.
I thought we had finished road and bridge. Did we, what did we need to do?
Well, we penciled in a lot of changes to it that I think we,
But it's the capital improvement.
If you want to talk about it in 5 minutes and look at them downstairs, I can print the new plate for you.
This thing?
Yes, I do have that.
Oh, okay.
Right back.
Okay, Henry's. And maybe while we're reading, somebody can explain to me, okay, we had this page here that was entitled facilities. Where does this show up in our budget book? What topic is this in our budget book? Because I couldn't find anything that said facilities, so it's gotta be under something.
It's right here, it's right behind,
No, but I mean in our budget book,
oh, I
where is
know.
it in here?
That I
I
know.
didn't find a category that's not facilities,
it's
yeah.
not anywhere.
Okay, so these capital improvements, where would they show up? We don't know yet.
They will. Well, they should show up in a sense separate from, I mean, we're
Was that
looking,
like a general fund maybe?
Well,
depends on where we're getting the money from to.
it was a capital improvement fund, but those were for the water and wastewater plants, weren't they?
Well, the facilities, for example, we have a town hall number, a Hotel de Paris parking lot number, Old Missouri restoration for this year. And then we have additional things for 27 and when I say this year, I mean for the 26 budget.
Is that in the capital?
We had.
This is called facilities, and I'm just trying to find out where it would be in our budget categories that, because I couldn't find it as facilities. So I just didn't know where it would be. So that's my best job.
So we should see those 2026 figures
Somewhere.
Yeah. Not necessarily the rest, but the CIP should be
Yeah, so for
kind
example,
of like an appendix to the,
or something, right? Yeah. Exactly. Where is the capital improvement?
it's not in that book, Cindy.
It's in that packet I gave you.
Yeah, it's a loose leaf.
Okay, so the CIP does not correspond with the budget. You will, when you,
Okay.
when you decide on these, that's the updated one.
Okay.
When you decide on how much money you want to spend in each of these, then we will allocate it in the budget.
But this is allocated to road and bridge.
For 2026. Correct?
Did you get the updated one? There it is.
They should be teaching.
No, you didn't get that
Okay,
one.
yeah, I just need a very basic understanding of that thing.
So if you look at the CIP,
Thank you, sir.
you go some.
Yeah, I have the
updated one last week, Shane.
The other ones were in these packages, right?
Those are the originals.
Well, this is the original, this isn't the updated one.
Got it.
Because in what we made notes of last time is that this first line item of 125 was gonna move to 27. Then we added
Okay.
125
I'll be right back.
roundabout.
I just clicked on the wrong.
No, we can do this.
Is this the right
We
one?
can draw arrows.
We can talk about it, like just, yeah.
Don't feel like.
The same one.
I'll get the new one, easy. I just clicked on the wrong file.
Can you email it to Amanda, please, too?
Yep.
Alright, so I don't have to.
Okay,
take a
so this
picture.
is not one I have because I picked up some stuff earlier, so.
So,
Yeah, no, he's gonna email it
did
to
you
you.
pick up
We're
your
waiting.
2026 budget book?
This is
Amanda?
probably out of that.
Did you pick up your 2026 budget book?
I know, it is.
So
I-
he's.
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's fine, cause it's here, it'll
Can I
be,
hand it out the window here?
look, it's
I am
here.
so sorry. I picked up this.
I
No,
don't know what that is.
that's.
Oh, that's
she's got-
from our original.
Shoot, okay.
Parks and Rec is with the real.
So that's
Well,
the
thank
original
you,
one?
I, you know. I think
Okay.
you-
So what we're saying is that these
You just
capital
say park, I'm
improvements, so if this says park
So-
capital improvements, that doesn't go in the parks budget?
It will, once we approve the 2026 piece.
That's where it will appear.
Right, but the rest are just projected.
So when we look at road and bridge, same thing, once these are approved, okay, so when we look at facilities, where are these going to appear?
So they may go into different sections of the
Okay.
budget depending on.
What?
So this is in a separate category like road and bridge and parks and everything else.
It may become one because we don't really. Well,
Well, I will just wait for Dennis to explain it, because I was like looking at the budget going, I don't see
Yeah.
facility.
I do see where it's done.
What was the floor is with.
That's very
Awesome. You know, the board members.
keep us on our toes.
Yeah, no, just do that, but it also projects,
And it's.
into the future.
That's right.
Things that you'd like to complete.
That's
So-
right.
So instead of having your thought process end for just the next year.
Then we want to project, that's exactly
We didn't
right.
have time to go out today anyway, so going up down the stairs.
I'm glad you're doing your stairs.
My sincere apologies. I am.
Okay, I'm good. I have a copy.
And you got this one?
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Dennis, this is the same one you just passed out.
So it's,
Shouldn't be.
but
Is it roundabout number one project?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. No, never mind, Rob. Don't talk to me. We're good.
Okay, so here's how it's working.
We're looking at a
Alright.
CIP, right?
First, we decide the projects,
Okay.
their amounts. And then we decide where we're going to allocate them in the budget. Now, I made it very simple so that things like road and bridge. Most of the time, all of the projects in road and bridge are gonna be couched in the road and bridge budget eventually.
Okay.
Now, if you look in your budget booklet that I got you,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have to do it right now, but once you get there and you look at the road and bridge budget proposal. There are gray boxes that have been blocked out and they're empty. That's where we will insert these numbers at some point.
Do we have a page number of what you're referring to in the budget book?
I can get to it real quick. Okay,
Oh,
Road and Bridge is
Yes.
page 5.
yeah, so you see the gray boxes that are empty up there?
yeah,
And then if you look down in parks, you'll see capital outlay is blank with a gray box.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think we're gonna insert some numbers here. Facilities is a different story because facilities
They can be anywhere.
could be in, different
Oh.
places, so we'll decide
All right,
where
thank
we're
you.
gonna put those, and I like to have that flexibility because we could put a facility project, say in the capital improvement fund.
Mhm.
I think I heard you say something about that, right, Cindy? Maybe it's there. Or we could put it in like the library budget, could come directly right out of the general fund capital.
Okay,
And it also is determined by if we're gonna get grant money for it, just things that we
Other
wanna be
things.
flexible with.
no, thank you very much. That's
Okay,
good.
so what we're looking at here, Amanda, did you get my email? Okay, great. So we decided to address the roundabout safety issue right away next year, if you remember. And that was 125,000 that we talked about.
maybe there's no verbiage on the back, that describes
Yeah,
that
I
project.
haven't gotten to that
Okay.
point yet. And then, I wanted to make a note here that I received the proposal from Unified Fleet Service. This is the company that the county uses for their fleet leasing. And so I'm just piggybacking on what they offered the county, and they put our vehicles on our own proposal. So I received this initial proposal this week. And I have added the street sweeper to their list to see if they could put that under a lease arrangement as well, and that could be less expensive for the town. So
So do
that's,
these figures under vehicle replacement for road and bridge coincide with the figures that you got from that unified lease?
no, I have not updated those photos because these are not final yet.
Okay, so the 18 and 36 across the board under vehicle replacement are,
Gonna be less, I
Questionable.
guarantee it'll be
Okay.
less. This one initially came out with a lease proposal of 3 years, and it's around 12,000 for the year. This is the parts vehicle, so it's gonna be less for across the board in all departments.
okay,
But I can't tell you exactly what that's gonna be yet. Okay, then we also inserted the stormwater management initiative for $100,000 next year.
okay, wait,
Right,
that,
but hang on.
oh no, it's still on the road and bridge,
Yep.
okay.
And you recall, we wanted $100,000 to complete the study, and then we plug 400,000 to do the work we anticipate is gonna come from that.
I thought we put the 100K in 27.
That's right.
Wait, okay.
So it would not be done next year, it'd be done the following.
Yeah.
Well, what's the Muscovite Bluebird Alliance?
So those projects, this is, right now, we're gonna address the stormwater issue up there in those 4 roads, right next year. Okay, and then the same thing with Biddle Street, we are going to address that roadway and
Where is that in relation to?
starting right here at the bridge and going east,
On the biddle,
Going north and Biddle.
north, yes.
So you're gonna go past Ninth and address all that over on,
The Capital Prize Mine and then up and over.
Very strong for that.
We're going to look
oh my
at it.
gosh, really?
Yeah, really good.
Cause you work there, you know,
Oh, gosh, yeah, it wasn't, that's still down from where we're at, but it does create problems through there.
Mhm.
We're gonna look
Yeah,
at
yeah,
it and
like
put together a plan, and if the plan says stop here, then we'll stop there, or if it says keep going, we'll keep going.
cause the way it's developed. After Nisla House, it takes a big dip.
And you come out and make that left by Max's house.
Well, then it basically dumps right in between those houses, and I know that they made a like a stowaway, if you will.
Yeah, they've made a little gully.
1,200 blocks to me, because I know the NISO house, but you're talking about something.
Literally between 10th and 9th.
Okay,
You're like, ninth is like where, remember where Bob lived?
yeah,
It's, yeah, right there at the bottom.
Right.
So is it like ninth,
So
ninth to
Bob's
13th?
house, the road that goes perpendicular to Bob's
yeah,
house,
9,
that's Biddle. And Biddle goes in front of, remember Barton Gardens?
yeah.
And then it basically goes into a gully and then goes down that spillway, but you know, then it's capital prize.
And then it becomes capital prize money.
Correct.
Then that next street by Max's house, which is, it's all on Main Street, it's all where it ties down there.
So Amanda, you had a question, this is like around 9th and 10th, okay, you're good.
I was just affirming that it's like 9th to like 13th is kind of what I remember from our last meeting. Is that
Oh, they're
correct?
gonna-
If it goes all the way
There's a few
north,
streets,
yeah.
It's not all of it, right?
There's a section
all the way
that we
north.
pay for
Few exceptions.
I don't anticipate doing the work the whole distance, but I don't wanna just pick one little spot of it. I want the engineer to say. The whole run is what we should, and here's how we should focus on it.
One problem creates another problem.
Well, it's
Just not careful.
one of the things that happened when that development went in was the infrastructure that went to just the public right of way fell apart. And even the develop, you know, even the landscaping on those brand new homes isn't, I know, isn't what DRC approved.
Correct.
That's been an issue.
And I just took a stab in the dark and I got it. Just saying. I'm looking forward to that in the show.
Okay. So,
Okay,
Sorry.
no, that's okay. I don't,
When we, let's go back to Biddle though for a second, because when that project was approved, and I'm pointing to you, Cindy, only because of the DRC connection, I'm not really pointing at you. And we talked about how Biddle, whether it was gonna be widened or not. We went round and round about that because of some of the mine waste and.
Yeah, then we got.
And what would it take?
Put a soil over a lot of that, there was a lot of stuff there that,
didn't happen?
well, don't know.
It's just undeveloped right at this point.
There, but I'm just, it's just, if you look at. Like my initial vision of how I thought that would go and how stuff was gonna get stair stepped in the original side of the houses. And then how it kind of went, which, you know, it's, but it does seem like stuff doesn't ever 100% get done, but I know I thought part of. With all the mine counties in that most of those lots were supposed to have a foot of soil over them. Of fresh soil, and maybe it got done, I'm not sure.
It would be nice if Marv redid nice house.
With what?
It would be nice if Marv fixed up nice house.
Which is their whole road on Middle.
Just
Way,
saying.
it's down,
Oh,
south, down.
Okay, but that's not a budget,
Right.
we gotta stay.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
So this engineering study that is going to be completed on Biddle. May reveal things that are,
yes,
Yes.
yes,
and more expensive than what you're allocating.
oh,
Well, I'm
yes.
with you, I'm thinking of the road and how stuff gets washed out, and so it is part of the budget, because it's money we're putting towards it.
Oh, it's
I also
absolutely,
wanna look at Bill from Nice up to the bridge. We're killing our bridge out there because of the way. The wood bridge across here, because we built the road higher than the bridge, so water. Gets on the bridge, so we really should start right at this bridge and go all the way to
On
at least
Jesse.
to where it comes down beyond 10th Street.
Okay,
That's the plan.
that's the plan for the budget.
Gotta be the whole thing, because the drainage has to somehow work.
Okay, thank
what a
you.
concept.
But it's the same concept goes for Muscovite, Flatiron.
I know.
So from a budget.
That was really what I was responding about.
So from a budget perspective, are we okay with these numbers? Should they be higher, lower?
I wonder if they should be higher.
But we're only talking Biddle Street right now, and I think the engineering study there, the
Oh, that's just the
reconfiguration.
I thought that was like the work.
No, that's the.
Yeah, no, that's just for them to say,
That's a-
So we actually do it right,
yeah,
do it more right this time with guidance. Instead of just kind of getting.
we'll know what needs to be done and we can phase that in
Yeah.
appropriately once we get the results back. Is that the way we should be interpreting this?
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
because I don't know what's gonna come of that, right?
Right.
And then I also don't know how priority wise that's gonna measure up to the other projects you have planned for 27.
Right,
So if it rises to the top of the list, then we can get more money and we can really dig into that. Or let's say that the engineering work only is 10 grand, right, to get that done. then you've got $40,000 to put towards the beginning of whatever they recommend, and I think that that's a very appropriate approach, considering the other projects you see lined up for 26 here with that one.
Right.
We can't do everything in next year.
But you got,
I want to, but
But so by legal
Oh,
law,
wait, Amanda has her hand up.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
Amanda.
No worries. I just had a quick question about the matter I brought up as far as doing a large scale study of all of the roads, an engineering study. And I think we had slated that for 27. Is that correct, Dennis?
28.
Kind of, or
yeah,
28?
that's called
$28.
the Stormwater Management Initiative. It's the first project in 27. It's
Okay,
$100,000.
so that is, I wasn't clear if that had made the cut. So, okay, great. That was the only clarification I needed. I know the Biddle project and the Muscovite Iron, Flatiron Bluebird Alliance projects are separate, but I wanted to make sure that we hadn't overlooked that. So thank you for clarifying.
well, I think you're right, that with this study of these particular streets, that there's a problem that they need, they're looking at kind of all that too, even though just those streets, but that water has to go somewhere. I would assume that they would
Yeah,
make sure that it's not affecting other areas if we actually finish another study for all of it.
correct.
Perfect.
Then, if there wasn't these extenuating circumstances for these other two projects that were talked about,
Right.
I'd say let's wait and do it all together. But the Muscovite Flatiron Bluebird Alliance project is something that every time there is a rain that is halfway decent, Road and Bridge is spending a week over there, right? Not to mention, there are a lot of people that live over there that end up with gravel in their driveways, and that's not good. So if we can get that done, great. The same thing happens over here with Biddle, with just a different issue. Cindy's right, the bridge is at risk, right? And if we continue to wear and tear that bridge down, you're gonna add more cost to fixing the bridge at some point. So I think time is of the essence for that one.
That's right.
So it fits, it fits.
It fits, it fits.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody got any problems or additions or questions more about road and bridge
For.
No, okay.
for 26?
Okay, and you're not talking about where that funding source is at this point? Or are you saying that comes out of the road and bridge fund?
Road and bridge fund.
Okay.
Just,
The
it's a
road and
question.
bridge fund definitely has that in it according to your revenue projections. It does.
Okay. Everybody's ready to move on to facilities?
sure. So are we still working off the?
The one that we were given last time, because we never made
We
any
haven't had
change.
an updated facility yet because.
Yeah, we didn't make any comments about it.
So we're running the level of Russell Down.
Facilities not.
Thanks. Boy.
I got it. Well,
You have your original facilities here?
I got it, yeah, I got it.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. So on Tuesday, I'm gonna lead off with this because this is the first project. On Tuesday, we are going to ask that you meet in executive session. We're gonna talk about a real estate transaction. And we have a report that is almost done. Bob's working on it for us. That's going to lay out all of the comparative options for town hall. And hopefully we can get some direction from the board at the end of the executive session so we can move forward with one of those options. And so this 500,000 that you see here is a placeholder, pure and simple. Because it's gonna depend on the option you choose. And I can tell you from seeing a brief glimpse of what Bob has been working on. They run the gamut of costs, so we're gonna have to wait on this one until you make a decision and provide guidance Tuesday night. Okay. The other two projects that we have planned for 26. This second one is one that jumped out at me on my second day working here at the town of Georgetown. The gentleman that runs the museum over here across the street came over to get me to pay the rental fee of $2.50 for the parking lot. So my first action was to sign that first check for $2.50. But he also reminded me that, the town has committed to maintaining those parking lots, and they have not been doing a very good job in the past. And so we talked at length, and, I think that the town owes it to, the town organization owes it to the downtown and the town area to live up to its commitment and maintain that by redoing the landscaping, regrading the parking lot. And even if we can afford it, maybe looking at some kind of treatment like we just finished with Strauss Park parking lot. So I plugged in $75,000 for that project. And I'm hoping that we can do that and improve that area next to the museum.
Are we planning on doing some of that work in-house, or is that
Yes,
contracted out?
yes, I think that we can, I've already had, Kevin and I have talked a lot about what to do with those landscaping beds over there. And we wanna move towards more of a xeriscape where there's not a lot of plantings that we have to maintain and water. And so he's got an idea of what he wants to do over there. We just have to price it out when we get closer to the project. So they would do that. We also need to look at the sidewalk that's on the, is it the Taos side of the parking lot on that corner is
Yeah.
in dire need of work. And then we also want to address the upper parking lot too. I just don't know what we're doing in the upper parking lot. So
So
yes,
is that all included in the,
Yes.
that one lump sum, but so even any parking lot maintenance is our staff as opposed to,
correct.
okay, just curious.
And Rob had a question.
In terms of timing, would you do that before Christmas market or after? Cause like before, you'd have a brand new surface, but it might wear and tear on the surface.
So this is for the budget starting January 1st. So yes, I'm gonna do it before the next Christmas market, but not this Christmas market.
Got it.
I think the optimum would be to do sometime in the summer.
Amanda, did you have any questions on that? Okay.
Okay, and then I'm glad Cindy's here because the old Missouri restoration, this conversation started because we had the idea of trying to convert that building into a restroom. And Cindy said, I will go take a look inside, and she did, and she found a lot of stuff that is wrong with that building as is and needs help. So restoration became the topic of the day, not conversion, and it also is too small for a restroom. So I don't know if you have any specific questions on the damage that is currently existing in that facility. Cindy can answer that question, but she has recommended budgeting $30,000 to fix the damage. I think it's the walls are,
There's the tower section and then there's a little addition into the back, and it's really little, and it's got an old metal roof that leaks all over the place, and Kevin has patched it. It needs another standard old kind. You can see the left of the garage is a good example, or his little shed there. It needs a plain little metal roof on the back. It also has caused some damage in the back wall, and the guys also have sort of patched that, but it should be fixed. It's not super major, but it's gonna take somebody who gonna rebuild that back wall and put a roof on.
So would that be in-house too, or would that be contracted out?
That should contracted to someone, and we'll ask a couple, I've gotten a sort of, off the. Just looking at it kind of estimate, not a real estimate, because until we can really do it, we really ask for estimates, then I just wanted a ballpark.
So is that a grant, Cindy? Could grants do that since it's a historic structure?
I would save your grant, application for here.
Okay, I got you.
This one we can afford, this one,
Understood. Thank you.
and you're not gonna get it for every building.
Right.
And I noticed, Dennis, in this, it says the grants and I suspect that is a grant that you're anticipating for, or hoping for, a new town hall.
yes, ma'am. Yeah,
And is that in process?
yes.
What page are you looking at, Cindy?
I'm looking at the place that says facilities.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if
Because the funding
It's
source.
there.
Okay, yeah, no, I see that.
325 is
Yeah,
general,
we'll
and
go from there.
250 is grant, and so, I don't know what their dollar France something is, but, yeah. So hopefully we're in process and.
Yep, we've already been in contact twice now with the person that manages that. And it's a 50%
Yeah,
grant with a match, so that's where the 250 came from.
yeah,
Obviously, we would revisit that if the number 500 changed, but I think there's also a max of 250. Does that sound right?
no, that's for the state historic fund, Dole will give
Okay,
you
I'm mixing those two up.
a couple of $1 million, Dole is big,
Okay.
But so 250 would become 500.
Yes, so if that number 500 changes because you choose one of the options and it's gonna cost $1 million, then that grant number would change to 500.
yeah, because Dole is a 50% grant.
Got it.
But I don't know what their cycle time is, so we should be asking for board's formal approval to apply to DOLA at some point. 'Cause DOLA requires.
I would anticipate that as soon as we get through Tuesday, clarity will come upon us all and we will be able to legitimately, confidently apply for the grant. And then, so I'm glad Cindy brought that up, but let me break down the funding source here. The 250 would be a 250 split for the town hall. The Hotel de Paris would come directly from the general fund 100%, and then the 30,000 for the Old Missouri is coming from the capital improvement fund. And then quickly going for some projects that are on the out years. The Griffith parking lot, that's this area right here. I'm gonna ask you to approve a lease agreement with Mr. Huggins Tuesday night, where he is giving us permission to use his corner lot. And we can extend this to a full parking lot from corner to corner.
We don't own this spot.
We lease it.
Yeah, release it from.
Right, okay, so then we would just be extending the lease to a different party to have use of that, okay.
But I'll also want to bring up that we are working on purchasing this from a public service company. They're just very difficult to work with. Have you ever heard the name Tyler Swanson? He's now not with Excel, so we're starting over with that project.
Yeah, fine.
Matt Reimer,
Who do we lease this from?
public service.
So,
Excellent.
Sal, thank you.
Okay,
the 75,000 is would be the lease agreement for
so
that lot?
yes, when the board gives the town staff approval to enter into that lease agreement, then we are immediately gonna in-house
Fix.
fix the whole parking lot and make it a proper parking lot. We're gonna do things that we can do with minimal expense. But then I'm asking the board to program 75,000 in 2027 to spiff that up to a real life parking lot with, in my head, wrought iron fences that would delineate the pedestrian facilities from the parking area. Putting some kind of finished surface over the gravel, something that really dresses this up and is consistent with the look that the board wants.
We'll get people from, this is one way to keep people from like going, oh my gosh, because people have turned around here.
There wasn't one way when I parked out here and I saw somebody go through the Excel lot and then come back this way and turn.
That's what I was getting at.
South on
They want to turn around and go back.
I swear to God, I wanted to jump out of the car if I wasn't.
I've seen people drive over the curb through this parking lot to get over here and go the wrong way.
I just wanted to, so thanks for the explanation. I just want to make sure that we weren't leasing that for 75,000 a year.
exactly.
Because somebody over here is getting for 250.
This is $1.
Okay,
Okay, you'll see
okay,
it.
okay, got it.
Can I ask the question?
Are we gonna write a check for that or is that?
No, it's coming out of my pocket.
Okay, are you a guy?
I know, the town. Okay,
What's the difference between the town hall and the hook and ladder restoration?
okay, so go ahead. Cindy is our project manager.
Yeah, well, I am on that one, yes, the hook and ladder is here. And the town hall restoration you're doing is at the library.
God.
Excuse me, we haven't discussed this in executive session.
At the community.
She kept going.
It's wherever you're doing it. You're doing.
Whatever the new one is.
So it's new town
Whatever the
hall.
new
I
one
see,
is. New,
I just.
new
The whole time,
location
I
versus
thought we
existing.
started off
It's kind of like Silver Plume, big town hall.
So we can't do anything to this building until we vacated it. And
Right.
we update, you were mentioning.
We did a historic structures assessment 10 years ago, and it said very clearly that the sill logs, the sill beams are across the back and on the north, west corner. After all these years, I should know, right? Were rotted out, and some of the floor joists sit on the ground. And they're rotting out. If you want evidence, just move all the carpets behind caged steps. So what we're doing is fairly obvious. What probably has to happen is we probably have to jack this building up in order to put it won't be a full basement or a
Put a
big
true foundation
foundation.
underneath it.
Yeah.
Probably a crawl space.
Yeah, maybe a crawl space, but at least something that's giving you
Like get across
probably
the
3
sector.
feet or, 2.5 feet of good solid foundation, and then set it back down. Which is going to be an interesting maneuver.
So in a
No, it's
perfect
not, it's
world,
not, it's not that tough.
why would we be doing any improvements to the lot next door if we are going to potentially be working on trying to,
Because we're gonna turn that into a construction site. She has a point.
Absolutely, I think that's a really good
so if
point.
we're, if
It's more
you
of a-
where I'm going, we're
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
understand,
put the
I
lot
understand.
next door until, so maybe we just need to push that back a year. Since that appears to be since the hook and ladder restoration seems to be a 2-year CIP project, maybe we should push the Griffith parking lot, the 75 to 2028.
Well, what about though, like, so I think if you look at our time frame, there more than likely, we probably won't be doing work on this building next year, but we could utilize the parking.
Yeah, but we're talking $1 for parking compared to improving that
And
lot.
not doing anything with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make
So
sense.
we can put $1 in for 2027 and we can put 74,999
True.
in.
Well, we wanna lease it from Huggins, we wanna have that, and then we probably wanna make this flat dirt, right? We don't have to do anything fancy, but at least get rid of the ruts.
But I think more.
Okay, Amanda, you have a
I
comment?
just want to interject. I mean, I think if we're thinking in terms of like a long-term economic development plan, having parking, like well-defined parking for visitorship is a huge asset to the town. If you look at one of the areas, and I hate to compare us to our neighbors to the east, but if you look at one of where we honestly get beat up is accessibility to those businesses. Those guys, there's well-defined parking, and I know our downtown is not as expansive, but if we're able to give people multiple well-marked, dare I say, cement or hard surfaced parking, it improves the visibility and gives people like it improves the visitor experience because they know that they're parking somewhere that's like legit, basically.
I'm not against the parking lot, Amanda. I'm just saying for the year that we pencil in the money for that, if we're talking about any restoration in this particular building,
Okay.
that parking lot is going to be utilized for
Construction.
heavy construction. I just want to delay that a year so that we're not like paving a road to rip up a road to repave it. So I just want to push that.
Sorry,
I agree 100%. I didn't even connect that we would have big building
Yeah.
jacks positioned over here. I didn't even
What
dawn
about
on me.
honestly, it's nice that we have that
Sorry,
next
it's
slide.
hard to
That
hear
would
a little bit,
utilize
so I
too
didn't touch.
for- All that can be utilized, it would be nicer the more space you have for what we're doing.
So we can move the 75 to 2028, is that,
That sounds fine to me.
okay, and it doesn't mean
We
that we're.
revisit that till
But we're-
it's 29.
But we're still gonna want to lease from Mike Huggins, right?
Yes,
Because we
yeah.
want that, okay,
100%.
okay, we want that northern part, we wanna have control
I
over it.
just think.
And who knows when the construction and renovation could start, and we can still use it for parking, yeah.
All right, thank you. Anything else, Amanda? Any other comments?
No, I'm
Cindy?
sorry, but it's a
Oh,
little,
I'll talk
sometimes
about
the sound gets a little tinny, so I don't mean to be like throwing out weird points or being redundant.
No, you're not at all. Don't worry about it. Cindy, did you have a comment?
I have a comment that the 300 you have from the historical and restoration, I don't, know that that's really gonna come close to it. The state historic fund funds at 75%, not 50%. So that, down in the funding source for that, because this building will definitely, I think, be the best candidate we have for the state historic fund Their max is $250,000. That's where you get the max for it. That's the SHF's max. And I see us going for that for this building. I also would, as soon as you leave it, I would hope to start, it's gonna end up in two phases. You're going to have the engineered plan before we can go for the grant money.
Right.
So it's not a one figure kind of thing, so.
That's why the staff is recommending 300 in 1 year and then 200 the next year. And we've broken the grant funding up to 2 years too, for a total of 200,000. I am one that likes to underestimate our grant opportunities success. And if we get 250, we go bigger, but if we land on 250 or 200 here in this case, then we're right on budget. So if the board wants to up these estimates for grant funding for these two, or as Cindy's recommending, I think maybe 500 isn't enough for this project.
The thing with, and what are you guys visualizing for this? And obviously get a true footing foundation underneath it, fix the structural work for the beams and stuff, but how much else? On this, is that kind of what?
No, actually,
Scope the work.
doesn't need a whole bunch else.
Well, yeah.
Until its future is determined, until a future is decided on what you wanna do internally. What we're doing is doing a step one of let's stabilize the structure, let's
Okay.
have it be solid. And then it's gonna be up to this board of what are the options of use for it. But before we decide to remodel the interior, we put a new roof on it. The roof is good, and we fixed the bell tower so nothing leaks up there, so we have already done. We did it exactly in reverse of how it should be
It
done.
does, it's,
You always do it from bottom up, and we started at the top.
but you still wanted to protect the structure, it was smart.
Yes, and we rebuilt the chimneys, and it's gonna be hard to lift it without breaking the chimneys, and those
Not
kinds of
necessarily, I
things.
mean, it's a slow process,
Yeah.
but.
But so no, the thing is that you're saying we're not even really gonna start discussing it until 2027. And I would hope that as soon as you leave here, we could at least begin the conversation.
Well, the discussing is not budgeted,
No,
but the cost of what the discussion results in is gonna be 300,000 that first year, I think. So if we can fight off a town hall remodel for the new site and a town hall remodel for the old site in the same fiscal year, I'm all for it. I don't
That would
think
be
we can,
awesome.
but I think that's gonna be multi-million dollars.
But what
No,
we're talking about,
all I'm suggesting is that there is something, because you're going to have to do a set of plans for this
Right.
as a first step. That's not $300,000.
No, it's not.
And all I'm suggesting is there be some sort of small first step in 2026 that allows you to.
to do the planning for
Just
the
do the
restoration of the
Yes,
foundation.
Allows you to go for a grant to get it actually done, because at that point, you need some level of construction notice.
But you need the drawings too to get estimates, to get bids and stuff, so.
But
So
we're
yeah,
able-
you're right, I mean,
Right, we may wanna plug something in there.
it'd be nice to get that rolling, otherwise it's gonna be another year and look where prices go.
Amanda, are you catching all that? Yeah, okay.
Can I just caveat right here? We can't just keep adding money after money after money, you know, this is gonna give. We've got a lot of projects listed already, and we have to balance that to how much money.
Yeah, you just don't want this sitting for longer than what's necessary, plus you have a parking that we're gonna lose. So if we're saving 75 grand, that covers the cost of engineering and plans more than enough, you wouldn't have to put that much at it.
And maybe
You guys get any ideas on cost, Cindy, for what?
I mean, I think by the same token though, and I'm so sorry, guys, the sound is a little bit tinny, so I'm not sure on everyone's stances. I mean, I think that, no, never mind,
I
I'm
think it
good.
might make, I'm thinking we should plug in some kind of number there for planning in 26. If we don't spend it, we don't spend it, and
Yes,
as we go through the whole budget, there are things we're gonna take out or move anyway, right? This is what I understood
but I
earlier, we
mean,
can always.
the most sensible, like after the restoration of the Star Hook and Ladder, I mean, who knows, like what what it's gonna end up being. I mean, it could be mixed use retail, it could be a museum, it could be housing, it could be community space. I mean, we don't even know, like, we haven't even hit that mark, right? Am I wrong? Am I
We
did I
just-
miss something in the
No,
conversation?
you're right.
So,
You're right.
I mean,
This
so I
doesn't
feel like
include-
putting a lot of effort into the engineering. I mean, obviously the preservation of the building is hugely important. It's a very important part of the history of the town. But until we have a firm plan on where town hall is gonna go, I feel like we have to diversify a little bit further on funding for different projects. Are
So I
more
would
in
just-
26. That's just me, but I mean, I would support the board if I'm off on
My
that.
only disagreement with that, Amanda, is, I mean, this isn't like, we're just kind of mad because, hey, we just don't like the building no more. The building has major structural problems.
Oh, no, the building is,
so each
there's,
year that
the
we let it
Hook and
sit,
Ladder
like-
is,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
mean, another
fixed
winter of snow is sitting on it, it could all of a sudden, like all of a sudden, if we get massive cracks in the corner, now the cost of that just went up massively, because it's not just doing a freaking foundation, it's also fixing structural issues on a historic building.
Which is
So
what
it's
this
just-
budget's contemplating is only a plan for the structural fix, if I understand this
Yes.
correctly. We're
We gotta
only,
get something
we're
going.
only talking about planning and engineering
So
for the
what,
structural fix.
so what would be a number that we would be plugging in at any time? Let's just talk a
Yeah.
number right now, for that engineering plan.
Just for the structural fix, to just, what would that number be?
For over 25 grand.
No, that would be, yeah, it's,
So,
20 to
so,
25 grand would be comfortably to get some engineering done for this.
I was thinking 75, but.
So if we-
25 from that.
Yeah, if we're just looking at engineering and some drawings for that, I mean,
75 to somebody to tell us that.
So if we had plans,
find an engineer that would do it for less than 20.
so if we had
I mean-
plans for 25,000, let's say, then we know from those plans, we can get cost estimates on what the fix would be.
That's
And
Right.
the fix is what we're looking at for 27. That's what we're looking at, right? That
correct.
300,000 or more, whatever the grants and et cetera.
Yes,
So this is just to your point, Cindy, the first part
yes.
is fixing the structure. And to Amanda's point, in the future, who knows what the interior
But that doesn't matter,
remodel would look like.
if we get the engineering done, then next year we can do the structural work. Then we can actually do a parking lot, get a parking lot, then we can figure out what you wanna do with the building, but we have to get the structural stuff fixed.
Yep, I agree.
That makes sense, Dennis?
plus the
It does.
engineering.
It's
the
just
engineering-
frustrating that things are gonna wait again.
Like, which, you had 75 for the parking lot, so you're just kind of switching.
I know, but parking is such a huge need right now that,
But I'm still with you on the parking.
Can't we
to a
make it look
certain
better
extent.
just by filling in holes
We
and
can.
grading it?
and that's where I have the frustration, because I'm not one that likes to just do things to make it look good for
I'm
me.
with you on that
Right.
too, so.
I
You can
understand.
literally put the fencing and stuff up, which here, so hear me out for this. Right, if you can allow a little bit for the engineering, go ahead and get the parking lot, because if you do the fencing then off, so if the fencing's in the right place. If we're gonna do construction here, we have to fence all this off from the
Have
public.
defense.
So you already have fencing in place that goes with that.
Okay, can I bargain with you then?
Oh, heck yeah,
Okay, can I ask you to plug 20 grand into the Griffith parking lot for next year?
yeah,
And
Well,
25 grand for the, yes.
Hook and ladder
The
plan.
structural plan for
Mhm.
hook and ladder. And I'm saying 20,000 for Griffith parking so that I can actually put in the fence that I wanna put in, make sure that we have the grading done well, very well. And it's not gonna cost 20 grand, but
What kind of a fence are you talking about? Because I think we're
it's gotta be
talking,
historic.
I think we're talking a decorative style fence compared to a construction fence.
We don't
We
want
bring in the heavy equipment and jack up this building.
Chain link with some, with sponsors on the side.
Oh, I know a guy down on
We're not
Argentine
looking at
that
it.
we can get that
Yeah.
done. Why are we putting up a nice wrought iron decorative
Not here,
sturdy
you're talking about-
fence? No, on Griffith, we
Well,
are talking the
Well,
Griffith parking
when
lot.
it's finalized.
I understand that, but why are we, there's a difference between filling in potholes, which shouldn't be costing us $20,000,
I
and
agree.
having a parking lot available before the construction happens in 2027. We're gonna have to take down that fencing, cause I'm sorry, some truck is gonna roll over it.
Well,
That's
it's
true.
I mean, liability,
That
construction
costs
company, like,
money.
But if it's my construction company and the fence is already there, and I'm doing the work, I'm liable for the fence and the maintenance integrity. That's just how it works.
Trash it somewhere. Well,
But here's the other thing, you know, like, here's where I'll fight kind of for Dennis for this. I mean, we all know when we come down the street, it's like, you know, it's the city hall, you look at the parking lot, you're like, oh, we don't wanna go there. If we make something nice, the construction on this is not gonna happen for another year, so we get a full year of a nice. If we started soon enough within a season, we get a nice, which we help make it look nice. And I do agree with you, Mary, on that, but it's, if the fence is there, it does help offset it. Chances are, the construction company's gonna do this, it's still gonna put a fence inside that anyway. But I don't, if it's there, they can't harm it. It's like, if there's a building over here, they can't, which there is buildings around.
There are.
They can't, if you bump a building, you're liable for it. It's just how it is. It's the same thing with that. If it's in place, it's liable. You know, a company's not gonna charge more because you got a nice fence put in, but they are responsible.
No, but if you have a nice surface and you've gone through all the expense and then you have all your heavy equipment on there, that could cause issues with
The surface
right?
itself, I mean, unless you're in concrete, I wouldn't recommend doing the concrete or a paved parking lot out here. But
Okay,
if you're gonna make it nice, yeah,
Like
it's,
Strauss Park.
Grant's not gonna
it's
pave
a
it.
benefit to
20
have a
grand
nice
to make
working
it.
area.
And good construction
Such a
companies
thing
will
for
leave it better
people.
than they found it.
Well, you have to.
I'm sorry, Amanda, go ahead.
I'm so
Amanda?
sorry. Parking is such a thing for visitorship. And it's
Mhm.
super interesting, like even in like Google reviews that we see for like businesses in town, there's very direct correlation between like people's experiences and their ease of parking. And it is incredible what tone it sets. I think when we're talking about the historic district that is suffering from economically, and we've made some really strong improvements, we can't discount the need for places for people to park. And unfortunately, I think the courthouse, like the overflow lots that we use during Christmas market, like the ones over by the sheriff's office, because they're kind of off the beaten path, they're too far. And I think that's a different opportunity for us, but I think this would be a really simple fix, and we don't need to put 75,000 into it, but if we can make it so that it's identifiable, accessible, puts people into the historic district, gives them a reason to get out of their cars, I think that's a win for Sixth Street. And so I don't want to just completely dismantle the idea of improving it, even if it's something superficial like the covering that we did, not this most recent round on Strauss Park, but the one before that, like something that was, couldn't fly away but and again, we can work that out later. We don't have to make it like, doesn't have to be like the lots behind Bojo's and Westbound, but it could still be marked and accessible for visitors.
I don't wanna die on this one because we have other, I'm not trying to be funny or sarcastic, but in the grand scheme of things, this is a small thing compared to actually getting this building fixed, right? You know, that's, I.
We're all with the same vision.
Yeah,
From this.
and so if we wait a year or two for the actual classic look of this parking lot, that's fine. I agree. There's a really good chance, Mary's right. That piece of equipment that comes in here that's gonna jack this up is going to wreck part of that fence. There's a good chance.
I disagree.
Just wreck the surface.
Hey, look at Denver.
I think we need 25,000 in the hook and ladder restoration in 2026 so we can get the engineering plan.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I think that's a good number.
There we go.
Okay,
Okay, we're done with the
thank you,
CIP.
Mary. Okay,
I just have no confidence in us construction workers. Cannot destroy.
You're right, from years of experience.
You know what, Mary, I kinda have to agree with you.
You can't even remember everything.
It's not that, I don't wanna do a project to undo a project.
No,
to
that's right.
redo a project, I think that's wasting,
It is.
our money, and it's a poor look on us that we've had for a lot of years.
I can only say one more thing on that. I would be contradicting my own judgment from earlier in the year if I did that, because if you recall, we had a bid out for fencing for parks, right?
yeah,
And when we went out to start looking at where this fence was gonna go, we had a discussion about why would we put this fence in right before we're thinking about building a skate park?
yeah, that's right.
And the contractor for the fence company that was out there said, you do not wanna do this before, you wanna wait till afterwards. It's not easy to take this out and put it back in. So
There you go.
There I go.
But I could argue that too, but I won't.
Thank you. What's our next page?
Okay,
Started
we're
our.
done with the CIPs though. All the capital projects have been looked at, reviewed, and I think I've got a really good idea of where we're gonna program those. And then I wanted to try to, before the night gets too old, is to get through the utilities. And I handed out those at your last meeting, but I also have those budgets in the back of the book.
You're awesome.
Utilities?
Water,
There,
Yeah,
water,
that's-
right.
The only two that matter.
That's right.
uh-oh, this is gonna take forever.
Nah, I'll shut up.
Well, okay.
You're out.
Did we need these?
Yep.
Okay.
So these handouts that I gave you have summary pages on the front of them.
No, food so far.
And I'm gonna just walk you through these so you can see what the highlights of this budget are, and then if,
They look like this.
This one, yeah.
okay,
Amanda must be yelling at somebody.
okay,
I'm making
So
sure my
Mark-
kid comes home. He thinks I'm at a meeting.
Oh, okay,
So we're doing water first?
water first.
okay.
Okay, under revenue, we're recommending no changes in the water rates for 2026, and this is basically because of the excessively high fund balances in the water and sewer fund when we get there. And so we're focused on trying to spend down that capital without having to raise rates. Beginning balance, we expect that to be around $9.846 million.
And
Is that for the joint funds or just water?
Water.
Do we have any bonds associated with water left?
Yes,
Is there any bond requirement to raise rates?
no. The bond minimum requirement is that you have a certain percentage, and it's 110% of your anticipated revenue, I think.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
I understand that you have that revenue percentage, but at some point along the line, I don't know whether it was water or sewer. One of those bonds, it may have been sewer, said. They had to do a raise increase, it was very strange, I thought.
We had Lorraine go through those bond covenants, and she did not raise any red flags for that.
Okay, just as long as somebody has looked seriously, because it, and I may be remembering 10 years past and we may be long gone after it, but that was part of what was causing our constant rate increases.
And normally, I would be a strong advocate for raising the rates no matter what, at least a percentage or two, just to keep us rolling forward. But in this case, because our fund balances are so high, I'd like to take a break and spend that down a bit.
And are we going to spend that down a bit by enhancing our system, our pressure that we're getting the final report back on?
How
Okay.
about the groundwater intake?
That's included as well. That's in the what it's scheduled for next year.
That's what I'm worried
In
about.
2026, yes.
Excel did was.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes. I think if you grab that, nope, the big one's up in the corner. If you can grab the one that says water for Rob, it'll show him those projects that we have planned for
I
that.
had that.
Okay, so if you look in the water under 2026, you should see the water plant intake projects.
Oh, great.
I want to say 300,000 is what we programmed that.
Yeah, 300.
350.
The revenues and water. But this doesn't count all of the public prices and water.
Yeah, it was 350, I think. in there.
Oh, sorry, I
Yeah,
don't mean to be
350.
dumb, but what's customer service?
That's like your normal billings, they
Oh,
go
okay.
ready to serve and all that.
Oh, I thought that was water meter,
Nope,
but that's an awfully low number for.
1.8 million.
No kidding.
We are anticipating 1.881 by the end of this year. So we're doing very well in terms of revenue for the water fund. We pay our water bill. And then that'll be a lot higher.
where are you looking at? What page?
So at the very bottom of page 9. You'll see the beginning of the water fund. It's kind of cut off there.
At the way bottom.
And the first revenue
Oh,
source,
I see.
called customer service, is your normal billing for usage. And we are projecting at the end of the year, we'll have $1.8 million.
Yep.
And so we're being conservative with no rate increase, and we're saying next year we're planning on $1.8 million in revenue.
And you're planning on spending only 1,093,000?
We're 795, I thought.
No, they're 450,000.
No, 2026 budget, look at the next line.
I'll do it, yeah, 720.
We're anticipating we're gonna spend
That's,
720,
$1,032,000 in the budget next year
Right.
for water.
what's that number then? Oh, I see, we got it in salary.
so you got distribution and operating expenses.
Yep. those are the things.
And that's reflecting on this.
I got you, total expenditures 1.03.
What numbers?
You're saying on this capital improvement thing that you're.
That doesn't correspond.
Nope.
No, it does not correspond.
No. When we, after tonight, now that the board has given me direction and finalized their capital spending plan, now I can insert capital numbers into these. Now we're just looking for operations. And the water and sewer funds, our enterprise funds, they have two separate components. They have distribution and they have,
Yes.
what's the other one?
Capital improvement.
No,
No, income, I mean,
collection.
Operation.
Sewer and operation, yes. Oh,
Operation.
okay. And so the total expenses we're projecting for 26 in the water fund is going to be $1,032,000 and some. 437.
and so why are we not doing a rate increase? You were gonna say something about that?
Because we got.
Everybody will love us if we don't.
Excellent.
Remember, we did not do an increase this year either, so we're gonna go and I'm not
Oh, I
advocating
forgot that.
that.
We
we
should
are supposed to.
advertise that.
No, but we wanna keep that in mind when we have conversations with the
Right, with
community.
people.
That we did
Yes.
not, we did not have a rate increase in 2025, and we are not anticipating, or we're not
We have to.
for 2026. I think that's a plus.
After we get off the board, they can do your ready.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
Leave it for the next.
when you're talking about the general fund and other tax revenue supported funds, you're dealing with Tabor, right?
Mhm.
That's not the case with this. This is rate generated, but you do run the risk if you continue to raise rates and have your rates higher, then you will affect your revenues at some point because of the, the higher the rates go, the less water people use, and that's actually a tool people use to try to conserve water. But at the same time, if you build up a retained earnings, they like to call it, with enterprise funds, then that gets too high, and then people start filing lawsuits against your utility because you're unfairly charging them for the use of the facility. So in this case, what we're seeing with the water fund in particular, the sewer fund not so much, but it's still excessive. You have a high reserve now in the water fund. Ryan did an excellent job of managing the costs of the fund and anticipating future infrastructure needs. And so we have a very high reserve. And then with this year's budget, you can see that the revenue of $1.8 million in excess of $8 and a cost estimate of almost $1 million, you're gonna add again to that.
Right,
Reserve,
yeah.
right? So while you're trying to burn that down, your efficiencies are gonna build it back up right away. And so we have to, I think, devote those monies towards infrastructure investment. That's why you see that in the capital improvement plan.
so one of the past practices that was done for water and sewer was any funds that remained at the end of the year, unspent funds. You know what I mean? Was then paid towards the bonds, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, question, because we're solid, not solid waste, in these funds, do we want to? Is there any, and I'm all for reinvesting in the infrastructure that we've, designated that we need. Is there any of those funds that we should be paying more towards reducing those
As
loans?
we have in the past.
Well,
That's what Mary used to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that was her trick, other than squirreling money away. in excess, she'd buy down the,
Yep.
you know, the principal on those loans.
So I don't know where we are on those loans, I'm just kind of throwing it, and you don't have an answer, and I'm not expecting an answer right now, but I'm just throwing it out as something that between now and the next time we get together to discuss this, should we be looking at that to see if there is funds available that we should pay more on those loans?
Thank you.
Yes, I think that you should always be considering that. The trade-off is the money that you're taking to use for paying off debt better suited for paying cash for your project?
Oh, no, and I totally agree
Yeah.
with
But you can do both.
reinvesting. But
Exactly.
because we're so heavy with, I don't wanna say extra funds, but you know, we've got a few extra dollars in the bank. Should we be diverting that and paying off some of those loans? I'm just throwing that question out there, no answer required, but just,
Okay,
we should be looking at.
ready to talk about the expense side of this ledger?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want, this is gonna apply to all the funds that you're gonna see throughout the budget. We have applied a COLA for wages of 2.75%, which we derived from the Midwestern cost of living source for whatever it was. We wanna peg this to that as an annual exercise, so it's remaining constant and consistent year to year. And then I've also added a 3% number for merit increases under the wage number for the water on both of those distribution and why do I always-
Operational.
Operational.
I would like to see the breakdown of our salaries and wages for this department and all of the departments.
That can be provided, and please remember, this is confidential information.
Absolutely.
Okay. The Ramey Environmental contract, we expect that to continue through 2026, and that has been accounted for under the other services line items. We expect that we will be canceling or ending that contract sometime during the year, but I cannot predict when that's going to happen, so we're budgeting for the full year.
Because we have staff that is going to take over those responsibilities, or
Yes.
we are potentially hiring additional staff for that?
No, we anticipate that existing staff will take over those responsibilities.
Okay.
Most of it is going to hinge on certifications.
Okay.
Lead line repairs. We accomplished a lot this year with lead line repairs, but we're not 100% certain that they're all taken care of in the town, so we have, budgeted a small amount for that in our equipment maintenance line items. And then the capital funding is basically gonna be a fill in the number from what you've decided on the capital plan for 26 for water. Let's see if I can see anything line item, to line item, just looking at it.
Page 10 on the, page 10,
Yeah,
operational expenditures.
yeah,
We were at, maintenance dash equipment. Right in the middle of the,
yeah.
51, 40, 34, 30, correct?
Yep, 435.
And that was what he was explaining.
Okay, so these numbers are going to go up to the court for what we agreed to on this.
Right,
And these numbers are not plugged into this at all.
right.
Got it. So I just know how the system operates.
Well, one way you can remember this. You wanna distribute water, you don't wanna distribute wastewater. I hope I've been helpful.
Well, that's it.
I break it understand that.
That's in the mission statement. Okay. Now I realize because you're seeing these numbers slide, you saw these numbers back at our last meeting, but now that you've had my brief explanation of the water numbers, I understand that other questions from the water fund could come up. And if you have other questions, ship them to me, and we can try to answer those. But I think that we've done a pretty good job of trying to maintain a status quo in a lot of the line items based on what our experience has been so far this year. And I don't see, there wasn't anything that really jumped out at me in operations and distribution that were issue that we needed to adjust from this year.
How's the filters in the water plant after the Excel dumped on us? Was there much damage to those loadings?
No, but we do have an issue up there that we are going to be working on this week. And then we also have an issue that is going to be facing us because the filter that's right there at the water intake freezes over on a regular basis.
Right.
And we had to try to keep that water flowing underneath the ice cap, and so we're trying to deal with that now.
Now, you talking about the intake up, where, okay, there's there's the intake. And then you walk up to the road, or walk the road up the thin road up to the other intake.
It's right there by the bridge, I think.
By the,
Yeah, the Rutherford Bridge.
yeah, by the trail bridge.
Yeah.
There was. Yeah, sometimes that wall that's up there, you have, the water comes through that wall. And into that intake, and sometimes that wall freezes.
Right.
Is
That's a
that,
filter. That's what I call it, I don't know, that's the technical.
yeah, it could, it could, sure.
And every so often Excel will do things up at the dam and they won't notify us of what's happening, but then the silt will come through and it'll damage or it'll block up that filter and we always have to go in and do something about it.
Wow.
It happened 2 or 3 times. Brian would come in my office and tell me we gotta do something.
So does Excel offer any compensation
No.
to us for that? I didn't think so, but I'm.
I mean, you can easily downfill the damn.
They have a couple of times when they're completely destroyed, they don't.
Right, I thought initially we had gotten some,
Yes, we
but
did.
that was kind of a fight to even get that
Oh,
out.
it was an enormous fight.
This latest thing has caught us, we don't know what that is. Do you know what it was? Because they don't have any actions that they have reported to us,
What happened?
that caused this most recent.
Oh, what,
Blockage.
it, like, I don't wanna know, like days?
Yeah,
weeks?
days ago.
Oh. Nothing that I'm aware of.
Hmm.
But I
The way
have,
you were talking, it was like you knew that Excel did something.
no, not at all, it's just, no, in the past, what we had to do is climb out onto that wall and with an iron bar, chip away the ice so that the water could get through because the water plant was starving, that we didn't have any water.
I wanted to somehow figure out how to attach an electronic warmer to that filter. But that was explained that wouldn't work. But we're looking at things like that to try to.
Well, don't have those in lakes to keep the water.
You just can't like warm rocks in the middle of winter. It's really hard,
The heaters in water,
but I mean, the thing is,
You
is
make,
that,
keep the water flowing.
yeah, to keep it circulating.
Yeah,
well, you would think it's a constant flow right next to, it either goes into that wall and it's that spillway, but it's constantly hitting it, but it's really cold up here.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, it just ends up clogging those holes that allow it to get to your intake.
so I ask a question, so yeah. On page 10, under operation expenses, the principal payments, water rights, line 810, 5140, 810. What? See, our 2025 budget is pretty much the same as the 2026 budget, but why is it that we only end up spending $80,000 on water rights as opposed to 127? What?
These are principal, this is mostly paying for debt.
Oh, okay. That's based off the loans and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
Where do you see that?
it's line item, 514810, principal payments / water rights.
I'm sorry.
And then the one right below it is interest payments / water rights.
Yeah.
So we're estimating that our total principal payments on the outstanding debt for the water fund will be 79,562. I don't think there are any actual water rights expenses included in that
I
number.
wondered,
Well, that's what I was curious about, because I can't imagine that someone's gonna reduce the price of our water rights but then if it's based on the principal payments because we are paying down our loans.
For buying that storage on the lake.
Well, no, just because we have the money and we're paying it down, I don't know, that, I'm just wondering why the discrepancy. If we budgeted 127. And we've only spent 80 yet, next year we're budgeting basically the same thing, should there be a reduction there, do we have that extra $40,000?
My hunch is, without investigating it more thoroughly, is that this projected number is just principal payments to date. And an actual projection towards the end of the year hasn't been made.
Okay.
This doesn't include the law firm
Nobody has.
that represents us in the wrong.
Are we purchasing water rights? Is that what this is?
No.
No,
Well, my experience
We're
was,
what?
Not your debt,
Debt for what?
for various improvements we've made over.
Okay, thank you.
That may not be really needed.
Yeah, it's not water
it
rights.
was at some point probably, my experience in Oregon with water rights is it's like a one-time thing, you go buy the rights.
Right.
And then it's not an ongoing fee that you keep
Right.
paying, so this may have been.
Depends on if you buy it for, buy it for course, they're not gonna let it, oh, we'll do it for $1.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, like, because you have to buy that, so then you gotta borrow the money to buy it, and you have interest on that, that's what this is. Right?
I think, yes,
That sounds right.
And what about capital improvements? Are they showing in here?
no,
Okay.
So actually, you have to add that to the, at which point you are spending more than you're taking in on the water fund, which was the point to begin with, that you want to pay down some of that huge amount that you have sitting up there.
Thank you. This
If you add the 1,093,000 to the 1,032,000, you come
yeah,
out.
so it'd be about $740,000 more we have to add into this budget.
for these capital improvements that are going here. Okay, which would put us, just under our revenues.
About,
Yeah.
but then he's right,
Yeah,
if it goes over, more the better, right?
Yeah.
Get some infrastructure done and we accomplish our financial goal, yeah.
for sure. No, I was just curious.
Okay,
Thank you.
sewer fund.
All right, super funny. Hey, this is the part that we don't distribute. I picked this other one.
Yeah. Right. Okay,
You're an
So-
elector.
we are doing the same thing, we're recommending no rate change for the sewer fund because of its excessively high fund balance or retained earnings. And, we also would like to spend down for some capital improvements. We expect the beginning balance to be around $5 million. The Silver Plume contract, the contract provides for a flat fee to serve Silver Plume residents. Under the setup, wear and tear on the system, employee COLA and benefit increases in treatment costs and ongoing capital investment is not fully considered. So I'm just giving you a clue that contract should probably be discussed going forward.
The Silver Plume contract.
Yes,
Isn't it based on a ratio of taps?
yes, and it's just a flat fee for the year. It's not based on use.
No, it's not based on use, but the ratio of taps has significantly changed since the last time that contract, the last person who renegotiated that contract was Benoff.
Really?
Yes.
Wow,
So,
that's
so
so
we have built a lot, and they have built virtually nothing. Ratio is off.
So they're not paying enough.
Well, no, they might be paying, so you're saying our numbers went up and theirs went down, so the ratio is broader.
That's correct.
So would that increase or decrease their payment?
But they would decrease.
Me too, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, well, I see, all
Going
right,
the wrong way.
yeah.
I think that's yet to be seen, because if they're just paying by tap, what I'm trying to say in a very simple way is when affluent comes into the plant and has to be treated, it's a severe impact on the plant itself, right? Because of the chemicals and because of what is happening, what's required in the treatment in the facilities. That's why you see or hear when Eric comes in and says, we have to replace the blowers or we have to do this or that. It's a more intensive use of a facility, not a water plant. And so when you're talking about the need to maintain and replace infrastructure in a sewer plant, just having a flat rate based on the ratio of taps is not going to reflect the true cost of that impact of that facility. And so if we were to go to a new structure, it's my opinion, it should be a structure that's exactly the same as our structure. And so everybody's sharing the same cost of what is going to happen to our plant and how we have to, how accelerate replacing infrastructure, or if we have to go in and change how the treatment process occurs. And so it might go down, it might, but it's more fair, or it might go up, or it might equalize with what Georgetown residents are paying. It's hard for me to say at this point because it's an easy way of doing the formula. It's not the detailed way of doing the formula. Okay?
So to impact this budget number, there was conversation taking place last spring or summer, this past spring or summer, about that board, that commission, the committee, whatever, the whole Silver Plume, Georgetown Water Group, blah, 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 blah. Where are we with that? Because everybody was all gung ho on that, and then we had some things happen. We seem to have a lot of things happen.
Well, I think it was only meeting on an occasion basis, in other words, if there was ever a need to. But,
But even
maybe
Ryan,
now we have a need to.
Ryan wanted to get that going
Yes.
too.
He did.
And there was, and it was right after you came on, and it just,
Yes, we had conversations. That's where this concept that you see here came from. It's those conversations that Ryan and I had during that time. And now that board needs to get back to meeting and we have to appoint somebody to replace Ryan. And so you're gonna see that and then we can get back into that conversation.
but I mean, but engaged with Silver Plume with this too.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Is, who's doing their water?
I don't know, it's hired out, so I don't.
Is it John? Is it Mountainside?
I don't know.
I can't remember his last name anyway, I thought I said the name.
We have discussed the water stuff.
Okay, on the expense side, pretty much the same as the water side because Ramey's doing both of these. And the COLA and the merit across the board. You heard from Eric when we were talking about the capital side of this, but there are just some minor repair maintenance requirements for the operational budget. And so we are recommending that we keep 50,000, but do not anticipate that we'll have to spend up to 90,000, which was the number in the 25 budget.
Those are replacement of sewer lines?
Just maintenance of those sewer lines.
Okay, oh, mine.
Mine's not in that number.
No, just maintenance of those. So if we have an issue.
Jetting,
Yeah,
do you move
vacuum jetting, if we have a leak, which we hope we don't, but if we do and we have to do an emergency repair, that 50,000 is for that.
You know, Ramey can TD,
Yep. I didn't know the specific person that would do that, but yeah.
it's Ishmael and it's the Arvada office, but he's like stretched out to the wall. I mean, in terms of, they've got districts, it's hard to get him up here, just saying.
That's where a company like Randy comes in handy.
They've got the facility, it's just getting them up here. I mean, if you demand it, you're the customer. I mean,
Yeah,
Well, and if we've got a already standing contract with them, I would hope that supports our.
it would be a
need for
bad
that too.
idea to get those TV because, I is a big deal, infiltration and inflow. And it's, if you slip line in,
it is quick folks, but it's also not as,
long lasting.
yeah,
No, I know, we want to replace the sections.
okay.
So back to the COLA and
Sorry.
merit increase on the expenditures, because we do split water and wastewater between the two, are you actually saying that we're proposing a 5.5% COLA increase and a 6% merit increases? Or are you,
No, because we're already split that way, so. An employee that works both water and sewer, part of the salary is paid out of sewer, part of the salary is paid out of water,
Right.
100%.
so you're saying 275 max on COLA and 3% max on your merit proposal here?
Yes,
So we're not doubling it because half is coming out of water and half is coming out of.
correct.
I mean,
So
it'll
the
still.
half the half of Mary Smith that's working in water will get a 2.75%. And the half that Mary Smith's working on wastewater gets the 2.75%, which is a 100%, 2.75%.
So we're actually, these two figures should be cut in half since it's water and wastewater.
No, because I've cut it in half here on the line item.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're full, let's say they're getting paid $50,000 annually. 25 is in this line item and 25 is over in this budget, and then we're applying the percentage increase here. The 3% is going to be at the discretion of the town
No,
administrator.
I understand that, but I just wanna make sure that it wasn't doubling, yeah.
Yeah. And that 3% is not gonna be fully awarded to everybody. This is merit-based and if they get a satisfactory evaluation, an employee is not gonna qualify for the max merit increase. That's for your exceptional employee that is just top performer.
We're all exceptional,
Well, I thought you were a genius.
I think there's always.
Wiley, Coyote.
we just
Don't
got
get me
to,
started.
get to five.
Okay, there you
Nobody
go.
ever gets a
There
five.
you go.
So you have here.
No, it's it, wasn't it?
No, wait a minute.
So
No,
for,
I agree with Mary on 100%, there's always room for improvement.
so for revenue, we have
We're getting it now.
1.198,
4.9.
and then we have 964 for expenses and then 182, but we don't have a net number like we did for water.
Well, did it cut that off?
But it looks like we're close anyway. I mean, I don't think it's.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close.
Yeah, it must have been on the last page.
Yeah, no worries. I
No holding
think,
back on us. huh? See, there goes your five.
Oh, you were so close at a 4.9.
Well, I wanted to give you something I can improve on.
She's giving us evidence.
that is so
So-
good.
The biggest mistake I made
I just have to
was,
say, my plan is working.
I just wanted to tell you that you all deserve the 3% I give every night.
size.
Okay, so quickly doing the math, 182, 676. And keep in mind when we input the capital projects in
Yeah,
that.
it'll be different. Yeah.
We're at 1,147,198.
47. Well, a little bit over, no, a little bit under, tiny bit under.
Yes, barely a little bit under, and then when we
Okay.
add our capital in, we'll be hitting our goals for spending down the fund balance.
That's awesome.
Well, correct, just one.
It works.
So what happens is that you now take the numbers from the capital sheets and you plug them into this budget.
Mhm.
And then, as a finished budget, it could go to the board, at their next meeting.
I think we're gonna have one more look at that, because if we put in these capital numbers and it takes us to where we don't wanna be, we're gonna have to adjust downward to our goal.
Sure.
I think we'll be pretty close. When we've had conversations about our fund balance targets, the board wanted to be around 30%, they'd be comfortable at that. So if we can hit those 30% targets and do all of these capital projects that we are aggressively pursuing for 26, then we'll be very close. But if the board has another discussion and says, 30% is still not high enough for us, we wanna be at 35 or 40, then we will have to adjust even further, which is okay. I mean, that's where we want to get to. That's the real decision-making portion of this.
Yeah. Yes. This is.
Okay, so it is 7:30, and if we want to, we can dig into the general fund, or if you want to take these home and do some homework, we can knock out the general fund and the other small funds at the next and final work session, or
Well, is the next first work session is next Tuesday at 5 o'clock, and it's 1 hour. So I'm thinking that may not be the final work session.
maybe not.
Yeah,
We
okay,
have time.
okay.
Yeah, you guys can move on.
Well, I mean, we're getting into
running out of
Thanksgiving.
time. This needs to be approved. It's
December 9th.
Yes,
December 9th,
yep. As
So
you
we
said.
may end up,
we'll need another work session. Don't you think?
let's be positive about
I
it,
don't
we
think
get
so.
there next.
Look how quickly we just went through the water and sewer operational budgets.
There's an hour and a half of our time that we'll never get back.
I'm missing, you know.
But we discussed
It's more than the
You know what we
3%
could
you're
do?
throwing us.
We know what we could do, actually, if you don't mind spending another 15 or 20 minutes, Cindy is right here. And Cindy, you could talk to the DRC's requests. And the capital improvement fund. Would you like to do that tonight, or we can invite you back at next Tuesday at 5 o'clock?
She'd probably like to do it now because she's here.
Well, I am here, but I am also missing the, you know, Alexander Hamilton and Lafayette and Burns and.
Is that on tonight?
That
What is
started
it?
2 nights ago, and we are now at the place where we are attacking New York City, and it's one of my favorite parts.
That is one of my favorite parts of the Revolutionary War.
Yes, it is one of my absolutely favorite parts.
Is this a Ken Burns thing?
Yeah, the Ken Burns thing.
It's
is
so
fabulous.
good. It's so good.
Yeah, I bet it's fabulous.
Marlena, we're wasting time here. If she could knock this next part out in 15 minutes,
I can.
let's do it.
And so I don't have either of those requests right in front of me, so it'd be helpful to some
Okay.
sort of.
So where?
I need 1 minute and 30 seconds to step away to get my kids on task for their.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. 'cause
So
we're
I will
okay.
be right back. I am so sorry that I'm not there tonight. Thank you for working with me, everybody.
Of course.
Where, do we have a page number here?
Yep,
Where is the page number? The DRC, in order to be a certified local government, we have to take the courses that are offered, and we have to do it annually. And we have to report to the state that we have. We want to stay, I think, a certified local government, because that's what gives us a seat at the table for actions like food. And in the future for actions like the FHWA and a road. In the past for actions like FEMA, doing some of our work in the creek. We have been very active and what the community would like to see. So those are the benefits.
so we're looking at page 6 under the
Yeah,
non-departmental.
so our expenses, in the conference, we go to the conference and actually. Most of our members attend in person, 1 or 2 of them may take some of the classes online, but we're there. And over the years, the town has paid our registration and then requested a grant from the conference to cover some of our registration. We personally pay for. This time it's gonna be in Denver, so we can go back and forth, but when they put it in Colorado Springs and we put it someplace else, we personally pay for our lodging. And people, we've been doing that for years, and our sense is that we shouldn't have to pay for our, we room together and all the rest, but that's, so that's part of what's in our request for a budget. Now, another part is our community outreach. Every once in a while, it is good if the DRC sends out a flyer to every single water bill owner saying, you know, these are basically the rules of the game and welcome, and we haven't done that for 10 years now, I
I was gonna
believe.
say, when did you do that? Cause I don't remember.
Yes, it's.
Okay, no, good. No, I like it.
That's exactly. the
PM,
problem.
it's pre-married.
The other thing, update the design guidelines, that is a match to, we talk about it all the time because we have some guidelines that are out of sync with modern materials. We have guidelines that we know that, we all have notes all over the place. Updating our guidelines, we would like a professional to help us in that.
What line is that? Why am I
Yeah,
not
where's
seeing
that?
It's on my little sheet of what we had asked for.
Okay, but I don't see
How
it on
much, how
ours.
much did you ask?
Well, that was $2,500 for that, and what that is that's a matching for, the certified local government has grants. And we will go for a CLG grant come January, and we have already contacted the expertise that we would like to have. Ashley Bushy, who does just phenomenal work in guidelines, and mainly it will keep us on task. Because the DRC.
So here's what I have, Cindy, hang on.
We don't have that on here.
So I've got training and education for the DRC, it's on here for $3,500.
Six.
Okay.
Yeah.
36, sorry. And then I have DRC community outreach at $1,500.
And we don't have that on here, so that needs to be added on this.
So we have $2,500 on updated design guidelines. Now we
Not-
wrote.
Not everything that is in the DRC letter is under non-departmental. Some of it is in capital improvements. I think I put it in the same line as the planning commission. I'm looking for which line I told you to put that one under. But it's
Okay, so but that to me is the other piece of what, you know, the historic structure fund is a different thing. But I think there's this other comes with this, so yes, you know, if you added all of those things together.
Well, I think, didn't we just talk about the updated guidelines? If that grant just within the last couple of meetings.
We have to match it.
Right, exactly.
$2,500.
So Katie,
I
have you
put that
found it?
one, I put that one in 1045-390, other services with the
What
comprehensive.
page?
I'm not looking at what you guys are looking at, sorry. It's in
1045.
administration.
Oh, administration.
Oh, page 3. 1045-390,
Yes,
so that's part of other services?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
comprehensive plan and the DRC guidelines were added to that budget line item.
Okay, what would help us then for our next review next week
Break all that out.
would be
Yeah.
those descriptive paragraphs on some of these. I mean, you don't have to necessarily explain janitorial supplies, because I can kind of guess, but something like other services that we're taking a little bit here and a little bit there and applying it wherever would be potentially decreasing our questions.
Sure, I have a summary page for the general fund. I didn't want to hand it out until I knew we were gonna talk about that this evening. So you have these, but this one is not on there. I was unaware that that cost was split between.
1045?
You might have two of the same.
So can I clarify, we're talking about line item 1045-390, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
So that's inclusive of multiple things.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gathering.
And we'll break that out for you, so you have that explanation
Okay,
more in
this
more
one,
detail.
yeah, that is in other services, that would be a contract service, so I understand certainly how it got in other services. And the last request from DRC is that, after the final round, but those are the 4 requests for doing the business of being a DRC and doing the business of being a certified government.
So I'm sorry, what was the 4th one then?
You have conference registration and conference travel and lodging, they were 2 separate numbers. In my
Right, the
opinion.
training and education, is that what you're talking about, that we talked about before the 3,600?
Yes.
You have it as training and education,
Yeah,
what number do you have?
so I have that on page 6 in the book,
1090, 680.
109680, yeah. So is that actually a combination of 2 of your,
90,
2 of the 4 things, is that what you're saying?
Page 6.
680 something?
Can I ask a question?
680.
And I want to make sure, and I apologize if this was covered and I just didn't hear it when I was making everyone do their things. 1090, 661, do we not need to do anything for the trust?
We're only talking about DRC stuff right now, because Cindy's
I
here.
apologize. Sorry, I'm looking at that
No, no.
whole scope. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
don't mean to
No, you're fine.
divert us.
We'll talk
I
about that when we meet again.
Understood. Thank you, apologies. I'll be in person
No,
next
no,
time.
don't
I can
apologize.
follow this meeting.
It's
Better.
all fine. So we had 3,600 for DRC,
That covers the whole conference thing.
and then we had 1,500 for community outreach.
I don't know where that is.
That's on the same page 6.
1090, 686.
Mhm.
686, okay.
Okay.
That's 1,500, because that's the mailing cost, basically.
Right, and then your
2,500 that we just found out was,
in other services,
right,
This is going to other services, that's what. As
those are the 3 items you have, that's it.
but you said there were 4 items.
there is another item, but it comes, the historic structure fund, it's at 1090 down there. You have a fund that is, it's a completely, for us,
Oh,
when we look at
10,000.
funds, it's a completely different fund, so
Oh, I
we
see.
thought that everything came out of sort of the general fund, and then there was the historic structures fund. Because you have a fund that you put $10,000 into each year, that is the demolition by neglect fund, it's the historic structures fund. And it allows the town, if they go through the procedure, to actually go in and help rehab a house and put a lien on the property. And that was a part of the law, that the demolition by neglect law. Well, it's built its way up. It's got about $100,000 in it at this point. And we tag 2 or 3 people a year, and we usually get a fairly good reaction. And we're not asking them to make anything beautiful, we're just asking them to stabilize it enough to save it. So there sits that fund. We end up tagging some people who, for a secondary building on their site or something, that really can't afford to do any of it. And so I think the DRC is looking at, could we have some sort of a mini grant operation that we could help out in certain cases of demolition by neglect in a small way.
So there would be an application from a resident to apply to receive some of those funds to help offset their costs, like a match kind of thing.
Yes, that's exactly what it would be, but they would have to have been cited for demolition by neglect.
Okay, so they're cited, then they apply for help, and then they have a matching grant
But
sort
they
of
have
thing
to
from
show
the
they
town.
need the help.
Right, got it.
But I like that you guys have that much money in there, because one project could use
Right, now.
that money like that.
Yes, I understand that.
Yes.
So
I-
what's
I
the
think so.
schedule for reviewing
Mhm.
properties annually?
Annually, we spend, annually we come to a month that says usually in the springtime. All right, it's time each person take their ward sections and do your survey and mention the people for demolition by neglect. We really did a nice thing for the Foley House. I mean, the whole porch got redone and we refocused. It was the state of Colorado and we cited them for demolition by neglect.
I love that.
So,
And they saved the building, it's
That's
nice
awesome.
when it works.
okay,
So I don't know, I mean, that's the whole, do you even wanna start the discussion of doing this?
So with the $10,000, it would go to that $100,000 fund.
You put in $10,000 usually annually in that fund.
Okay,
That's usually in the budget, put in, you have a historic structures fund.
Fair.
I think it's fair. I think it's
No, it's
great.
in the budget.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
it
it's great.
shows in the
Yeah.
budget, it doesn't show the balance, and so. I can see that we wanna continue it for budget conversations, I can see that we wanna continue the $10,000 annual contribution. But I think the grant application, though, it sounds like a good thing, doesn't belong here yet.
No,
I
I
agree
agree.
with that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good.
So now we've trimmed you down to less than 15 minutes, maybe.
Okay, so, but what is the grant application, I mean, what,
Let's bring that back to a time, once we're past this budget.
I think last time we checked, wasn't it a little over $100,000?
well, what you've got here, and it's on your summary page right up front, is that you are proposing that with your $10,000, gonna have $118,000
Yes,
in it.
that's right.
It's the third box down on your fund summaries. So, Mary, I understand what you're saying, sure, I mean, you could pass this budget, you can just put in the 10,000, but at some point, we would like to not lose the idea that we could be a little bit more proactive than simply shouting at somebody that somebody who has an old barn that they would just as soon, demolish, and we're saying, we really appreciate having our old barns, particularly when they are backdrops to our historic structures.
I think it's a great project for us to discuss at a later time.
That's right,
Gotcha.
absolutely.
Yeah, I love the idea of that, but it doesn't Yeah, that.
Let's stick with the money, just the money part here, and then let's propose
the
that.
next part here is good.
Your 10 grand
Separate.
in
Yeah,
there.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely,
I'd love more
yeah.
information on how that, more how it looks like, and I think it's a good idea, but just we need a lot
Yeah,
more
well, we
information.
can also refine the idea a whole bunch. I mean, I can make we can make the idea into a whole proposal.
Right, which I think it should be.
And you did do the work already this year, 25, to make this possible, right? When we changed the ordinance.
No, the demolition by neglect has been around since Matt Skeen was mayor.
No, but I think we adjusted the approval process, so we made it
No,
easier.
No, that was a different, that's the.
That was a
for-
local register that we approved.
Right.
So what
That
this
was a local
does is it
register.
allows us to have discretion over some money to do projects, whereas the demolition by neglect is a legal process where we have to take them to court and we have to put a lien on their house, and it's really it's intense, and it's also like not a good thing for the tenant or the person who owns the house. So we're trying to create this
Necessary.
separate line so that the DRC has discretion to give out micro grants that doesn't involve all of this legal stuff.
But we're gonna talk about that grant opportunity at a later time.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly, different process.
But the town still needs to contribute the $10,000 to keep the fund sustainable so we can avoid the
yes.
costly numbers. Great. That
Exactly.
sounds, that
Yes,
sounds
yes.
very equitable and positive.
Yep, so from a budget perspective, it's good. Yeah.
Okay, before we are done, Amanda, I want to point you to page 9. Under the workforce and tourism enhancement budget, there's your contribution to Georgetown Trust for $15,000.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to divert.
No, that's okay. And we just received Paul's request, I think within the last month, and we have paid that. So we're all set with that
But this would be for
next year.
next year.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm hearing in preparation for the next one and hopefully the last one, but we can plan for another, is flesh out some details on these other services. So if there's more than one project included in a line item, you can know what projects are under that. And
Wage detail?
yes, then the wage detail.
And Silverstone, I made it
And
up.
then other services.
And anything has to be done on it at this point.
No, they
Okay.
don't, but
Did
it will
you
be.
ask me to talk about something else besides you?
No, no.
Okay.
Why
You have
is
15 minutes and it's up.
This is perfect, you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Cindy, for being here and for staying.
So we're
Thank
doing
you
5
guys
o'clock.
so much. I'm so sorry again that I wasn't in person. I appreciate it.
No, we're good.
Well, you were almost as much fun on Zoom as you are in person.
As I'm
Go
like, if
Niggers.
you're catching like my muted, it's like I'm yelling like, language, stop fighting, do your homework, put your pants on. Like that's what's happening.
You had it, you had it.
Excellent.
Like you got your mom too.
Right.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay.
You
All
guys
right, bye.
have a great night.
I don't know how to turn, I don't, do we know what to do over here?
Yeah.
Deja, what do we?
Plug out of the wall.
Accidentally trip over the.
Sorry.
Actually, it said
I think she's running the show.
to take a longer view, especially if you have.
I think it's really, that's how it works. Yeah. So
Working in a sense,
Someday that's gonna be my.
in another sense, no.
Well,
After you get used to it, no, it's not.
Oh, we're moving.
we have red flags in that area for a while.